Have you ever had a déjà vu so real it felt physical like you'd already lived the next 10 seconds? Or noticed impossible synchronicities, stacking back to back, numbers repeating, people calling exactly when you think of them, time stretching, compressing, glitching? If you felt reality stutter like a skipped frame in a movie pause right here, you're not crazy. You're not broken. You're perceiving something most people never notice. If you've experienced that, you're not imagining things. You're detecting shifts in quantum consciousness, and no one prepared you for what that means. A lot of people carry this quietly. You don't talk about it at work. You don't post it online. You've learned to stay silent because every time you tried to explain it, someone smiled politely and changed the subject. So you started wondering if it was just stress imagination, wishful thinking. It's not. What you're sensing has a name in physics, and it sits at the intersection of the quantum field, the subconscious mind, and the observer effect. Here's the pattern researchers keep seeing without agreeing on what to do with it. When awareness shifts, reality behaves differently, not metaphorically, measurably. In 1972, at Stanford, experiments tied to delayed choice observation showed that measurement after an event could influence outcomes before it. In the 1980s, similar results were replicated with variations, then quietly argued over. In 2019, quantum computing labs reported interference patterns that didn't align with classical prediction models. Papers were submitted, rejected, submitted again. Reason given more than once. Too metaphysical. One study was rejected 14 times. That's not conspiracy theory. That's peer review. Here's what matters to you. If you've been meditating, visualizing, manifesting in your life, still feels stuck, it may not be because you're doing it wrong. It may be because you're trying to change effects instead of frequency. You're pushing outcomes while ignoring the layer where reality creation actually occurs. Mainstream spirituality taught you to focus on positivity. Physics is pointing somewhere else. At the quantum level, reality doesn't respond to hope. It responds to coherence. This is where things get uncomfortable because it challenges almost everything we were taught about cause and effect. The observer effect doesn't say thoughts magically create reality. It says observation participates in it. That participation happens below language, below belief, inside the subconscious mind, where vibration and frequency are not metaphors, but measurable states. And if you're feeling isolated right now, there's a reason. You feel alone because you operate on a different frequency. Not better, not superior, different. People experiencing a genuine spiritual awakening often report the same thing: heightened pattern recognition, time distortion, emotional intensity, and a growing sense that the world is thinner, less solid, as if there's a hidden reality pressing against the surface. Science doesn't deny this anymore. It just doesn't know how to explain it without breaking its own framework. Quantum computers didn't solve this. They exposed it. When systems process information beyond binary logic, strange things appear: non-local correlations, probability clouds that don't collapse cleanly, outcomes that depend on how information is queried. Sound familiar? If you felt like your life is looping, like you're doing everything right, but nothing moves, stay with me. This isn't about motivation. It's about alignment at the level where reality actually listens. I'm not going to resolve this yet. Not because I can't, but because if you skip ahead, you'll miss the part that explains why this has been happening to you specifically. So stay. This isn't for everyone. But if you're here, there's a reason, and in the next segment, we're going to touch the layer most people never reach. If this has described you at any point, stay with me until the end, because this video connects real science with something no one has ever explained properly. In 1962, physicist John Stuart Bell published a paper that most people never read, but it quietly fractured reality. Bell proved mathematically that if quantum mechanics was correct, then reality could not be both local and independent. In 1982, at the University of Paris, Alain Aspect tested Bell's theorem using entangled photons. The result was unambiguous. Information behaved as if space did not matter. Cause and effect collapsed. Something outside space-time was coordinating outcomes. That single experiment confirmed that particles respond as a system, not as separate objects. Mainstream physics called it non-local correlation. But here's the disturbing implication. If observation changes outcomes at the quantum level, then perception participates in reality creation. That means when you experience déjà vu, impossible synchronicities, or the sense that timelines almost overlapped, you're not fantasizing. You're brushing against the quantum field where probability hasn't collapsed yet. This is why spiritual awakening often feels destabilizing. Your subconscious mind is detecting pattern coherence before your rational mind catches up. You feel stuck because your inner frequency has shifted, but your external environment hasn't recalibrated yet. Traditional spirituality told you to stay positive. Physics is saying vibration precedes form. Nobel Prize winner Eugene Wigner admitted in 1961 that it was not possible to formulate the laws of quantum mechanics without reference to consciousness. They don't teach that in school because it breaks the materialist model everything is built on. If this resonates, don't write "me too." Describe the exact moment reality felt off for you. That's how this tribe recognizes itself. And this is where it gets stranger. In 2019, at Google's Quantum AI Lab, physicist John Martinis announced results from the Sycamore processor that stunned researchers. A quantum system completed a calculation in 200 seconds that would take classical supercomputers over 10,000 years. But what mattered wasn't speed, it was behavior. The system explored multiple outcomes at once and collapsed into a single result only when measured. That collapse wasn't mechanical, it depended on observation. This is the same principle revealed in the double-slit experiment, first performed by Thomas Young in 1801 and later refined in 1999 with single electrons. When unobserved, particles behaved like waves. When observed, they acted like matter. The implication is disturbing. Reality doesn't settle until perception arrives. If you felt moments where life seemed to branch, or choices felt heavier than logic, that's not imagination. It's quantum consciousness interacting with a hidden reality. Your subconscious mind senses probability before form. That's why forcing change exhausts you. Quantum computing showed that systems don't respond to commands. They respond to internal state. Vibration precedes outcome. Frequency shapes experience. Nobel Prize winner Max Planck stated in 1931, "I regard consciousness as fundamental." They don't teach this in school because it dismantles material control. If this aligns, write the moment your perception shifted. Describe it fully. This isn't engagement, it's recognition. And this is where everything changes. In 2007, physicist Seth Loig at MIT published results showing that quantum systems don't fail randomly, they revert to their dominant state. In 2011, this was reinforced when David Deutsch demonstrated that quantum computations repeatedly return to prior probability patterns unless the internal configuration changes first. The result challenged mainstream assumptions. Systems don't obey intention, they obey identity. This mirrors the double-slit experiment, where observation determines outcome. But the deeper truth is this: the observer's internal coherence matters more than conscious effort. If you've ever felt like you're evolving internally while your external life stays frozen, this is why. Your subconscious mind keeps selecting the same branch of the quantum field. That's not weakness, that's conditioning. During spiritual awakening, perception expands faster than identity can update. Old emotional responses keep firing automatically, locking frequency and vibration into familiar loops. That's why synchronicities appear before change. They're signals, not results. Nobel Prize winner Erwin Schrödinger admitted in 1958 that consciousness cannot be accounted for in physical terms. They don't teach this in school because it undermines behavioral predictability. If this reframed your experience, describe the moment you realized effort wasn't the issue. Write it so others recognize themselves. This isn't validation, it's alignment. And it only goes deeper from here. Something has shifted since the beginning of this video. You can feel it, not as an idea, but as pressure in the chest, a subtle acceleration in the body. We moved from experiments to implications, from equations to experience, and now Everything converges here. Quantum consciousness was never a theory about particles. It was always a mirror. The quantum field does not sit outside you. It moves through perception itself. What you call vibration and frequency are not beliefs. They are states of coherence inside the subconscious mind, selecting which version of reality creation becomes visible. If the world has felt unfamiliar lately, that isn't failure. That's consciousness expansion beginning to override old programs. This is the part most people resist. Reality does not happen to you. It happens through you. The observer effect was never just about labs and lasers. It describes how perception, energy, and attention collapse possibility into form. You were never missing power. You were trained to forget it. Spiritual awakening is not gaining something new. It is remembering something original that was suppressed so systems could remain predictable. When your frequency changes, the hidden reality feels closer, thinner, almost audible. That strange calm mixed with discomfort is recognition, not anxiety. Feel it in the body, not just the mind. Here's the implication no one prepares you for. If consciousness collapses reality, then time, separation, and even death do not mean what you were taught. Not in the way textbooks imply, not in the way fear-based systems need them to. Sit with that without resolving it. This knowledge has always been controlled because a population that understands quantum consciousness cannot be managed through illusion. You didn't find this video by accident. Alignment brought you here, and once seen, this cannot be unseen. Something has irreversibly shifted. You are not alone in this. Thousands are waking simultaneously, sensing the same cracks in perception. This space is not a channel, it is a meeting point. If you feel your heart racing right now, that is not adrenaline, it is coherence. And what happens next depends on a choice you make in the next few seconds. Before we go further, anchor this moment. Comment one phrase below as an activation, not for metrics. Write, I am the observer, or consciousness creates, or I see beyond the veil. A public declaration collapses intention. It feeds the collective frequency and draws those who resonate. Stay here, breathe. The next step is closer than you think. Asterisk, asterisk. If this video brought you clarity, if something finally clicked inside you, subscribe. This channel is for people who feel reality is deeper than what we were taught and who are done living on autopilot. Asterisk, asterisk.